What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, we're going to be talking about the 2023 Daytona 500 intros. We're going to go through all the teams and drivers that have been confirmed so far and talk about the potential rides that could be announced for the 2023 Daytona 500. So far, 39 confirmed entries have been confirmed for the Daytona 500, and we've got a lot of entries to talk about, so let's just jump right straight into it. We're going to start off by talking about the one car for Trackhouse Racing. This one's been confirmed. Ross Hussein will be in the one car for Trackhouse Racing in 2023. Now, in last year's Daytona 500, Ross Hussein crashed out in one of the early wrecks near the end of stage number 1. Now, Ross Hussein also in 2022 had a really strong year, finishing second in the championship standings, finishing third in the race at Phoenix, and finishing second in the standings. Ross Hussein will be looking to build on a really strong year. Phil Surgeon as a crew chief. Ross Hussein had a really strong year in 2022. The next team we're going to talk about is a two-car for Team Penske. Now, this one's been confirmed. Austin Cindric will be behind the wheel of a two-car for Team Penske in the 2023 Daytona 500. Austin Cindric is coming off of winning the 2022 Daytona 500. Had a fantastic year. Like I said, scored his first career victory in the Daytona 500 2022. We're looking to build on upon that in 2023 by being the defending winner. He'll be looking to defend a win in 2023. He'll be looking to defend that. Up next, we're talking about the 3-car for Rich Schultz Racing. This one's been confirmed. Austin Dillon behind the wheel of the 3-car for the 2023 Daytona 500. Austin Dillon won the 2018 Daytona 500 in controversial fashion, so he'll be looking for his second Daytona 500 victory. Also won the last time here at Daytona in the summer when we were at the cutoff race and made it to the playoffs. Austin will have a new crew chief this year as Keith Ryan will be taking over for Justin Alexander. He'll be looking to defend and get the victory in the Daytona 500. Up next, we're talking about the 4-car for Stewart-Haas Racing. This one's been confirmed. Kevin Harvick will be behind the wheel of the 4-car for the 2023 Daytona 500. Kevin Harvick is coming off of a hit-or-miss season in 2022, scoring 2 victories. Kevin Harvick also won the 2014 Cup Series Championship and the 2007 Daytona 500. He'll be looking for his second Daytona 500 victory. Kevin Harvick will have Ronnie Childress as crew chief in this event, and I think Kevin Harvick has to be one of the strongest favorites going into the race. Up next, we're talking about the 5-car for Hendrick Motorsports. This one's been confirmed. Kyle Larson behind the wheel of the 5-car for Hendrick Motorsports in 2023. Kyle Larson, very strong driver in 2022, not as good as he was in 2021. Of course, he won the Cup Series Championship in 2021. Now, Kyle Larson historically has not been great at super speedways, but you look how good he is in Daytona 500, and he tends to run pretty good. So I would tend to think that he might not be a bad pick. And he also won the Daytona 500 pole last year, so he might have a chance to do good things in the 2023 Daytona 500. The next team we're going to talk about is 6-car for RFK Racing. This will be driven by Brad Keselowski. Brad Keselowski has not won the Daytona 500. He's historically not been the greatest at Daytona, but he's won a lot of races at Talladega. And he nearly won this race in 2022, albeit in very controversial fashion. But I think that Brad Keselowski is going to have a really good chance to get it done in the 2023 Daytona 500. He'll be looking to pull it off and get his first Daytona 500 victory. The next team we're going to talk about is 7-car for Spire Motorsports. This car will be driven by Corey LaJoie in the 2023 Daytona 500. Corey LaJoie is coming off a very disappointing season. He had a couple really strong performances, but really Spire Motorsports in general did not show the pace and speed. So the hope for Corey LaJoie in 2023 is to improve on that and hope to have a chance to win the 2023 Daytona 500, which is definitely going to be an underdog pick. The next team we're going to talk about is the 8-car for Richard Childress Racing. This will be driven by Kyle Busch, as Kyle Busch has departed from Joe Gibbs Racing. Will be looking to win the Daytona 500 in his nearly 20th try in the Daytona 500. Kyle Busch, of course, 2-time Cup Series champion, has won Daytona in the summer race. He's also won the Bud Shootout at Daytona. He's won pretty much everything that you can win at Daytona except the Daytona 500. So he'll be looking to finally get that Daytona 500 victory done in his 18 for 19 start in his first time at Rich Schultz Racing. I think he's got a good shot to get it done, especially with how fast the 8-car has been at super speedways. The next team we're going to talk about is the 9-car for Hendrick Motorsports. This will be driven by Chase Elliott in the 2023 Daytona 500. Chase is coming off a very strong year in 2022, scoring, I believe, 5 victories in 2022. He's come close to winning Daytona 500 multiple times. He went really close to winning it in 2021, and will, I think, have a chance to win it in 2023, especially with a super speedway package, basically being a package where the best super speedway racers can do well at. I think Chase Elliott, who's, of course, also won at Talladega, the last super speedway race, I think he's got a good shot to win the 2023 Daytona 500. The next team we're going to talk about is the 10 team for Stewart-Haas Racing. This will be Eric Almirola behind the wheel of the number 10 car. Eric Almirola, of course, there's a lot of talk he retired at the end of 2022, but he's coming back for one more season in 2023 and could retire at the end of 2023. Now, Eric Almirola is a very solid super speed racer. He came close to winning the Daytona 500 2018, but got wrecked by Austin Dillon. I think Eric Almirola's got a good shot to get it done. I think he will be a threat in the 2023 Daytona 500. Up next, we'll talk about the 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. This car will be driven by Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin is a three-time Daytona 500 winner, winning it in 2016, 2019, and 2020. So he'll be looking to win his fourth Daytona 500, become one of only three drivers to have at least 4 Daytona 500 victories. Denny Hamlin is absolutely one of the favorites going into the event, and you're going to have to watch out for him in the 2023 Daytona 500. Up next, we're talking about the 12th car for Team Penske. This one's been confirmed. Ryan Blaney behind the wheel of the 12th car for Team Penske. Ryan Blaney is coming off a very solid year in 2022, but he did not score a victory. But I think Ryan Blaney's got as good of a shot as anybody to win Daytona 500. He's been extremely quick at super speedway types of tracks, and I think he's got a really good chance to get it done. Came very close to winning the Talladega race and has won here Daytona back in 2021 in the summer race. So I think Ryan Blaney's got a good shot to win the Daytona 500. Up next, we'll talk about the 14 car for Stewart-Haas Racing. This car will be driven by Chase Briscoe. Now, Chase Briscoe is coming off a very solid year in the Cup Series, actually making it to the round of 8 and nearly making it to the Championship 4. Had he won it at Martinsville, he would have made it to the Championship 4. Now, Chase Briscoe, of course, picked up his first career victory at Phoenix in 2022. Chase Briscoe will be looking to build on that and get his second career victory in the 2023 Daytona 500. Up next, we're talking about the 15 car for Rick Ware Racing. This is the first one that has not been confirmed for 2023. However, I think that this car is going to be driven by David Reagan. David Reagan drove this car in 2022 in all of the super speed races and a couple other races as well. So I think David Reagan will likely drive the number 15 car in the Daytona 500. I could end up being entirely wrong, but I think this car will be driven by David Reagan. Up next, we're talking about the 16 car for Colin Racing. This one's been confirmed. AJ Allmendinger will drive the 16 car for Colin Racing in the 2023 Daytona 500. Now, AJ did not run in the 2022 Daytona 500, and this will be the first time AJ, I think, has competed in the Daytona 500 since I believe he departed from the Cup Series back in 2018. AJ, though, has been really solid in the Xfinity Series, won a Talladega in 2022 in the fall. And Colin Racing tends to be really fast on the super speedways. So I think he's going to be trying to help bring Colin supremacy to the Daytona 500 and try to win his third career Cup race and get a Daytona 500 victory. Up next, we're talking about the 17 car for RFK Racing. This, of course, will be driven by Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher is coming off a very solid year in 2022, getting a victory, but there's also a down year at points, but he's really strong on the road courses and the super speedways as well. Chris Buescher is definitely an easy guy to kind of watch for in the race because I think Chris Buescher is going to have a really good chance to get it done, and he's definitely one to watch in the 2023 Daytona 500. Up next, we're talking about the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. This will be driven by Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. is coming off kind of a little bit of a disappointing year in 2022 where Martin Truex Jr. did not score a single victory. This is the first time Martin Truex Jr. has failed to win a Cup Series race since 2014 when he joined Furniture Row Racing. Martin Truex Jr., however, actually won both stages and had one of the best cars in the 22 and 22 Daytona 500, which is shocking considering he's kind of been hit or miss at super speedways, at least with Joe Gibbs Racing and the Toyotas. But I think Martin Truex Jr.'s got a shot to get it done, especially if he's up front contending for the victory. Up next, we're talking about the 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. This will be driven by Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell's coming off in a great year in 2022, scoring 3 victories, getting his first multi-win season, and making it to the Championship 4 and nearly having a chance to win the title. Christopher Bell had a hit or miss year on the super speedways, got involved in some wrecks, but I think that Christopher Bell has a good chance to get it done if he's up front and does not get involved in the wreck like he did last year in the 500. I think Christopher Bell has a good shot to get it done. Up next, we're talking about the 21 car for the Wood Brothers. This one will be driven by Harrison Burton. Now, Harrison Burton made his Daytona 500 debut in 2022, where he's actually one of the fastest cars in that race, one of the best cars, but got flipped upside down after getting involved in a wreck that was caused by Brad Keselowski. Harrison Burton, of course, got 1 or 2 top 10s. It was really showing some stuff near the end of the year. Hope is for the team to improve. Hopefully Harrison Burton can help Wood Brothers improve in 2023 and also have a chance to win the Daytona 500. Up next, we'll talk about the 22 car for Team Penske. This will be driven by defending NASCAR Cup Series champion Joey Logano. Joey Logano also won the 2015 Daytona 500. Logano, like I said, defending Cup Series champion, will be looking to build on a very good year in 2022. Of course, he's not won a super speedway race, I think, since 2019 or 2018. But Logano will be looking to build a strong career and continue to build a great career as he looks to try to win Daytona 500 for the second time. Up next, we talk about the 23 car for 2311 Racing. This one will be driven by Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace had a very solid up and down year at points. Of course, he nearly won the Daytona 500 2022. But he also had a good end of the year outside of the suspension where he wrecked Kyle Larson. He ran so good that he actually ended up winning a race in 2022 at Las Vegas. Bubba Wallace, I think, is a threat to win the Daytona 500. I think of all the super speedway prowess he's had and experience he's had, I think Bubba Wallace has a really good chance to win the 2023 Daytona 500. Up next, we'll talk about the 24 car for Hendrick Motorsports. William Byron will be driving the 24 car in 2023. Now, William Byron does have a win here at Daytona. That came and got in his first career victory in 2020 at the Daytona Summer Race Cutoff Race to determine who gets in the playoffs. I think William Byron's going to have a good chance to get it done if he's up front. And I think that 24 team will be very quick, especially since fast cars are going to be the ones probably to beat in the 2023 Daytona 500. Up next, we're talking about the 26 car for Team Hagesburg. Now, this one right now I think is to be determined. I think that they will enter the Daytona 500. The big question is, if this car 26 enters, who will drive the car? It could be Jacques Villeneuve. It could be Danny Kvyat. Who knows at this point, but I think that this car could enter, but it's to be determined at this point, but this is a possibility. Up next, we're talking about the 27 car for Team Hagesburg. Now, I do expect this car 100% to enter in the Daytona 500 in 2023. I think it'll either be Larice Hasemans or Jacques Villeneuve. Now, Jacques Villeneuve, he drove the 27 car in last year's Daytona 500. The question is Larice Hasemans cleared the race? If he's cleared the race in this one where he basically doesn't have to get a license to run, I think Larice will be running this car. But if not, I think that Jacques Villeneuve would have a chance to drive this car in the 2023 Daytona 500. Up next, we're talking about the 30 car for 3F Racing. 3F Racing is a new organization that is joining the Cup Series in 2023. Will run 10 races. This one is to be determined, however, for the Daytona 500, as it is unclear at this point if they are going to enter the Daytona 500 with that car. If they do enter, I think Kaz Gralla or Justin Allgaier could be good shouts for the ride, but we'll wait to see what happens in regards to 3F Racing. Up next, we're talking about the 31 car for Kaulig Racing. This one has been confirmed. Justin Haley will drive the 31 for Kaulig Racing. Now, Justin Haley had a hit-or-miss year on super speedways, which is disappointing considering in the Xfinity Series and how good Kaulig has been on super speedways. It was very disappointing to see struggles that Justin Haley had, especially with a wheel coming off. It was very disappointing to watch. But, okay, now Justin Haley, he won at this track in 2019 in the Cup Series at the Summer July race. I think he's got a good chance to win Daytona 500 as much as anybody else. Up next, we'll talk about the 33 car for Richard Childress Racing. Now, this one's probably going to be a little bit of shock, but this could actually be a possibility for the 2023 Daytona 500. Because Richard Childress has said that there's a possibility that they can run a third car in the 2023 Daytona 500. Now, I think the only way that this car will enter, however, is if they bring Sheldon Creed up to run in this car. So this one could be a possibility, but I would say it's right now to be determined. We could see a third Richard Childress Racing car in the 2023 Daytona 500. Up next, we'll talk about the 34 car for Front Row Motorsports. While it's not been officially basically reported and basically announced, Michael McDowell will be driving the 34 car for Front Row in 2023. They just haven't announced it because Front Row tends to wait to the last minute to announce their 2023 plans, except in the Truck Series. But I think Michael McDowell will drive the wheel. He won the 2021 Daytona 500 course, and I think that he will have a very good chance to win the 2023 Daytona 500, get his second Daytona 500 in the last 3 years, and will be looking to get a second career NASCAR Cup Series victory in the 34 car. Up next, we're talking about the 36 car for Front Row Motorsports. While the number has not been officially announced for Zane Smith, I would think that Zane Smith will drive the 36 car in the Daytona 500. Zane Smith is going to drive around 5 to 6 races in 2023 in the NASCAR Cup Series. The rest schedule has not been announced. I would think that that will be getting announced probably when Front Row Motorsports officially announce everything for 2023 on the Cup side. But Zane Smith, of course, coming off winning the Truck Series Championship in 2022, and also as a Cup Series start in 2022, he'll be looking to build on and get some good runs and get some experience in the Cup Series. Up next, we're going to talk about the 38 car for Front Row Motorsports. This one's not been officially confirmed, but I would anticipate that Todd Gillen is going to drive the 38 car. Like I said with Michael McDowell, Front Row tends to wait to the last minute to announce their drivers. I don't expect any changes around the 38 car. Todd Gillen had some decent runs, but I think the 38 car has been kind of a little bit underperforming car over the last couple years. But I do think there's a possibility and a chance that there won't be any changes, and I think Todd Gillen's going to continue driving that 38 car. Up next, talk about the 41 car for Stewart-Haas Racing. This one's been confirmed. Ryan Preece will drive the 41 car for Stewart-Haas Racing in the 2023 Daytona 500. Now, Ryan Preece, of course, taking over for Cole Custer in 2023. Ryan Preece has ran the Daytona 500, I think got a top 10 in the 2021 edition of the Daytona 500, and has been a decent super speed racer throughout his NASCAR career. So I think Ryan Preece is an underdog for the Daytona 500, and he brings a lot of experience to be looking to build upon that in 2023. Up next, we're talking about the 42 car for Petty GMS Motorsports. This one's been confirmed. Noah Grace will drive the 42 car for Petty GMS Motorsports in 2023. Now, Noah Grace is coming off an incredible NASCAR Xfinity Series season where he scored 8 victories. Now, the Cup Series, unfortunately, was a much different story. He kind of struggled in the Cup Series. He actually does have a Daytona 500 start that he ran in 2022, but got crashed out in that one after getting involved in the wreck that Kyle Larson caused, where Kevin Harvick also got involved. Noah Grace will be looking to win his first Daytona 500, and I think he has a chance to get it done, especially with the pace of Petty GMS Motorsports. Up next, we're talking about the 43 car for Petty GMS Motorsports. This, of course, will be driven by Eric Jones. Eric Jones in 2022 picked up a very important victory in the 2022 Southern 500, scoring his third career NASCAR Cup Series victory in the 43 car. Eric Jones also was very strong on super speedways in 2022, contending for wins at both Talladega races and being kind of near the front at Daytona in a lot of the event. I think Eric Jones has as good of a chance to win the Daytona 500 as anybody else. I'd watch for Eric Jones. Up next, talk about the 44 car for Petty GMS Motorsports. While the number has not been officially announced for Jimmie Johnson, I think the number is going to be 44. The 44 has been a big name with the Petty GMS Motorsports group, and I think it would make a lot of sense considering 42, 43, it would make a lot of sense to run 44. Plus, the 44 number has been synonymous with the Petty brand over the years. The Jimmie Johnson obviously also run select races in 2023. Those will be announced in the distant future. North Wilkesboro's been in the conversations among other races. But congrats to Jimmie Johnson on coming back to race in NASCAR in 2023 and be a part owner of the Petty GMS Racing Group. Up next, we're talking about the 45 car for 2311 Racing. This will be driven by Tyler Reddick, as Kurt Busch will not be racing full-time in 2023. Tyler Reddick joins 2311 Racing in 2023. Now, Tyler Reddick is coming off a good year, scoring 3 victories in 2022, though that last one coming at Texas. Tyler Reddick will be looking to win his first Daytona 500. He's been a little bit hit or miss at Super Speedway, so I would not put him as a favorite to win the 2023 Daytona 500. But with how fast Toyota's been, how fast Bubba Wallace has been, with how good he's been on Super Speedways, and with both of them being good buddies, I think Reddick's got a really good chance to win the Daytona 500 if he can be up front. So watch for Tyler Reddick, because I think he could have a shot at getting it done. Up next, we're talking about the 47 car for JTG Doherty. This will be driven by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is coming off of kind of a very disappointing season, actually. He struggled throughout the year, had a lot of races where he DNF, had I think 10 or 11 DNFs in 2022, including in the 2022 Daytona 500 where he was up front. Now, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has one good thing going for him right now is he is a really good super speedway racer. That could play a factor in helping him win the Daytona 500 2023. He's an underdog to win it, and he could have a chance to get it done in 2023. Up next, we'll talk about the 48 car for Hendrick Motorsports. There have been a lot of questions about what number Alex Bowman's going to run, but Alex Bowman will be driving a 48 car in 2023. Now, this will be a contract year for Alex Bowman, so he is anticipated and expected to run as well as he can. But I think Alex Bowman does have a chance to win the Daytona 500. He's been hit or miss the super speedways throughout his career, and I'm a little worried about the concussion stuff, but he says he feels fine, and he's definitely ready to get going for 2023. So I think Bowman's got a shot to get it done if he's still in contention to win at the end of the race. Up next, we'll talk about the 50 car for the Money Team Racing. There's been no announcement around the Money Team, but I think they're going to run the Daytona 500 in 2023. The big question is who's going to drive. You got the possibility of maybe Kaz Gralla, maybe the possibility of Julio Castroneves. Castroneves is one of the teams that Castroneves could run for, and maybe they bring Connor Daly to drive this car. Connor Daly actually did make a start at the Roval, so that could be a possibility. We'll see what happens, but it does sound like they're going to run Daytona. We don't know how many races they're going to run. I'd love to see them run full-time, but we'll see how many races they decide to run in 2023, including in the Daytona 500. Up next, we're talking about the 51 car for Rick Ware Racing. While it's not been confirmed, I would anticipate that Cody Ware is going to drive the 51 for Rick Ware Racing in the Daytona 500. Cody Ware ran full-time in 2022 and actually gained 3 positions. I think he had a 28.5 average finish, which is 3 positions higher than he ran in 2021, which is a really good increase for Cody Ware. They'll be looking to build on that, has some decent runs on super speedways. Actually got a top 10 at Daytona the last time we were here, and I think Cody Ware could do pretty solid in the Daytona 500. Up next, we're talking about the 54 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. This will be driven by rookie Ty Gibbs. Now, Ty Gibbs coming off of winning the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship in 2022. We'll be looking to build on that in 2023 by trying to win his first Daytona 500. Ty Gibbs might be an underdog. He has some decent super speed races, but I just think he may end up struggling because of a lot of drivers not liking him. Because let's be for real, a lot of drivers are frustrated with him near the end of the season. Hopefully Ty Gibbs can have a good year. He'll be looking to try to win the Rookie of the Year honors and be looking to win races in 2023. Up next, we're talking about the 55 car for MBM Motorsports. This one has not been confirmed, and I think it's to be determined at the moment around the 55 car, but I think there is a chance this car could enter the Daytona 500. MBM has ran 2 cars in the past. I think that JJ Yeley will drive his car if they do enter the Daytona 500 because he did drive the 55 car with the Hex branding, the coin sponsorship that he ran. I think we'll see him if he does enter. I think he'll drive the 55 car if he does enter. Up next, we'll talk about the 62 car for Beard Motorsports. This one has been confirmed. Austin Hill is going to drive the 62 car for Beard Motorsports in 6 races in 2023, including the Daytona 500. Now, Austin Hill is also expected to run for Rich Choice Racing in the Xfinity Series in 2023 as well. Austin Hill has done a really good job in select Xfinity Series races. I think he actually could be an underdog if they make the show just because Austin Hill has a lot of good super speedway experience. And I think Austin Hill has a good shot to have an opportunity to win the Daytona 500 if he does make the 2023 Daytona 500. Up next, we're talking about the 66 car for MBM Motorsports. Very similar to the 55 car, this car is a to-be-determined car at this point. I think there's a chance this car is going to enter, however, because MBM tends to run 1 or 2 cars. I think Timmy Hill has driven his car, though, in the past, will drive the 66 car. Timmy Hill's driven a 66 car in the Daytona 500 for many, many seasons, and I really believe that they will run this car with the sponsorship they have. I know that Timmy's got some sponsor funding, like Eunice could be a potential sponsor for him if he does enter. So this one is to be determined, but I think that we'll see Timmy Hill drive this car. Up next, we're talking about the 77 car for Spire Motorsports. This one has been confirmed. Ty Dillon will drive a 77 for Spire Motorsports in 2023 as he leaves Petty GMS Motorsports. Ty Dillon's coming off a very disappointing season and he'll be looking to try to, of course, win his first Daytona 500 and also look for his first career NASCAR Cup Series victory. This could be a new beginning for him, and he hopes to run as well as he can. I know the Spire has struggled over the years, so the hope is that he could try to win the Daytona 500 in 2023. Up next, talk about the 78 car for Live Fast Motorsports. While nothing's been confirmed outside of the manufacturer change where they're going to be Chevy next year, the driver has not been announced. But I think BJ McLeod is going to drive the 78 car in 2023. BJ's ran the Daytona 500 the last couple seasons in that 78 car, so I think that he'll run this car in 2023 once again. Hope is that they can be a little bit more quicker and a lot more consistent on track. Hopefully BJ can do that and do good with this team in 2023. Up next, talk about the 91 car for Trackhouse. This, of course, is Project 91. Now, very similar we talk about with the money team, this car sounds like could be a potential possibility for Julio Castroneves to run in 2023. Julio Castroneves has been promised an NASCAR Cup Series ride, and I think it's very likely that he will drive this car if he does enter the Daytona 500. Julio Castroneves has won a lot of big events the last couple of years. He won the Rolex 24 in 2022. He also ended up winning the Meyershank win the championship, and Motel Petit Le Mans IMSA won the 2021 Daytona 500, and he's helped him win a lot of major races throughout his career. So he'll be looking to help out the team and build on a very good season in 2022 by trying to make the Daytona 500. Up next, how about the next car, which is 2311 Racing third car. Now, this car will be reserved for one driver if he does enter. This driver, of course, is Kurt Busch. This will be number 97. This number was iconic to Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch drove this car for a lot of his career when he drove for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing from 2001 to 2005 before he left the team. I think the fact that Kurt Busch wants to race, I know he wants to race, but he's got to be medically clear. If he does enter Daytona 500, I think it will be with the 97 car. His experience, I think, will play a factor. He's won the Daytona 500. He did that back in 2017 with Stewart-Haas Racing. So he'll be looking to try to do that in 2023. And finally, we are talking about the 99 car for Trackhouse Racing. This will be driven by Daniel Suarez. Now, Daniel Suarez had a pretty strong year, picking up his first career NASCAR Cup Series victory, and will be looking to build on that by trying to win his first Daytona 500. I think Daniel Suarez has as good of a shot to win as anybody in the field, and I think of how fast Trackhouse Racing showed their pace this year, I think he's got a really good opportunity to get it done. I watch for Daniel Suarez because I think he's got a good shot to win the 2023 Daytona 500. So, that is going to be it for the 2023 Daytona 500 entry list at this current moment. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links are below over that, and comment below your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts about everything we know about the 2023 Daytona 500 entry list, and do you think all these cars that we've talked about could enter or not? Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow on my channel, we're going to be having the first of the 3 big prediction videos. The 2023 NASCAR Cup Series predictions will drop on the channel for 2023. That will drop tomorrow on the channel. Monday will either be a NASCAR news video or motorsports recap video, or will be a team preview on the channel. And there'll be more content dropped on the way here in the future, and I hope to have that big announcement out in the not-so-distant future. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.